Hi everyone, welcome to a Lovely Yarn podcast. My name is Amber. Today is June 5th, 2024, and it has been several weeks since I've come to you with a regular podcast episode. So I do want to jump right in and get started on that because I have a lot to talk about. I've been really busy and I have a lot to share. First, I want to say thank you to the great response I had to my last video, which was the video on 12 summer knitting patterns that I could really see myself knitting. I thank you guys so much for tuning into that and liking that. And I will be announcing the winner of that pattern for that giveaway I did for that video at the end of this episode. First things first though, let's talk about what I'm wearing because I know that you guys like to hear the pattern name of what I'm wearing. So this is the Anchor Summer Shirt, and this is a pattern by Petite Knit. I have knit multiples of these, and this is also knit in a yarn that I use a lot, and you guys have heard me talk about a lot, and that is the Drops Belle. It is a blend of linen, cotton, and viscose. Maybe there's some silk in there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a very economical yarn. I think it's currently on sale now for €2 a skein, and they are 50-gram skeins, and that is through Wool Warehouse, which this is where I typically order mine from. This colorway is Almond Rose, which is color number 21. So just in case you're interested, that's what this pattern is. I have about 5 summer shirts currently that I rotate through, so I feel like I'm constantly showing the same ones, but if I don't mention it, then I'm sure somebody will ask. So just wanted to put that out front. Now, today's episode kind of has a theme going because I have a couple of summer projects that I'm currently actively working on that I just cast on, I think last week, both of them. And then I have been inspired to work through my WIPS. I have a small shelf in my closet and I have all my WIPS, well, most of my smaller WIPS, I have them up there. And I've just been inspired to reach for those bags and get rid of those WIPS. Like, I need to either rip them out or I need to proceed and finish them. And so we just came home from a 5-day camping trip and I took some of those WIPS with me and I actually finished 2 of them, which is really exciting. So I'm going to talk about those finished objects in the work down the WIPS section. And I'm actually going to start with my current and active and most recent cast-ons, which are my summer projects that I'm currently working on. So let's start with I don't want to call it a knitting failure, but it was I bought the Farnham tee from Farnham? Gosh, now I can't think of it. Is it Farnham? It's the Knit Purl Girl. I featured it on my episode. And I bought that pattern and I thought I'm going to cast on because I have this Berocco Remix Light and this Berocco Indigo yarn that I bought last year on clearance at it was like going out of business type of a sale. And I thought I'm going to do this as the main color and the stripe is going to be this color here. Well, I started it and this is all the further I got before I decided to rip it out. That pattern is knit front and back flat, and then you join under the arms and knit in the round the rest of the way. And yeah, I didn't get very far. I did this all in an evening and then I thought, I do not like this. I'm not going to be happy with this. It's not working up like I imagined it to, and I think it mostly has to do with this yarn. So this yarn is a recycled, it's made up of all recycled fibers, quite a few of them: nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, and linen. It's very nubby, as I'm working with it, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's kind of like irregular and gets caught on my needle a bit. It's not like it's a bad thing, it's just, it's not a smooth yarn at all. And I realized that I did not think it was a good fit for this particular pattern, because then the yarn I was using as the contrast was smoother, so I just wasn't liking how it was turning out, and I was realizing that I probably was not going to wear the finished project. So I decided pretty quickly, I didn't get much done at all, I decided I was going to put the brakes on and find a different pattern for this yarn. And actually, I still plan on knitting this tee, but I'm going to order some more Drops Belle. I don't have any. I have a fairly large quantity of the Drops Belle in the petrol colorway, which is a really deep turquoise color, but I just want a neutral colored Farnham tea, so I need to order some more Drops Belle, which I have not done yet. I don't know when I'll do that actually. So this is all I had. I saved it to show you. It's going to be put into my little jar of, I have a little jar of like yarn ends that I cut off, or just things where I can use them to like stuffies if I ever knit or crochet those, because what else am I going to do with this little quantity, and I don't really want to throw it away, so I stick everything in there. That's where that's going to go. And then I decided I still want to use this yarn. I had 3 skeins of it. It's a DK weight yarn. It has 432 yards per 100 grams. So it's a lighter DK weight yarn. And so I found a pattern, which is hilarious because I did that whole video and I had all those patterns that I really wanted to knit. And then I found a different pattern. It's the Yumi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it's a pattern by Isabel Kramer. I'll put a picture up here so you can see it. I actually had this saved in my favorites, and I don't know when I saved it, but I was looking back through my favorites and I found it, and I thought, oh yeah, I think that would be a really good match for that yarn. It has that really beautiful lace work on the top, and then it has a faux seam down the side, and then it's pretty much just plain stockinette other than those things. So it is a pattern that calls for DK weight yarn. Like I said, this is a light DK weight. What I ended up doing is it's supposed to be a bit oversized. So let me look here and see what my thinking was with sizing, because I already forget. I already forget what I was thinking. Okay, so there are 7 sizes from an extra small to a 2X, and the finished bust circumference of the medium, the first medium, is a 41.5, and it's supposed to be, this is supposed to be worn with some positive ease. So my bust is 37, like my full bust. But then my upper bust, which I've had this discussion before, because I think this is the measurements that I need to go by, because when I go by my full bust, it's always too big everywhere else. So going by to get the positive ease that the pattern suggests, I should knit the first medium size. There's 2 medium sizes. I should have knit the first medium size. But then considering my gauge, which was a bit larger than her gauge, I decided to knit the size small. And I have to say that I'm super glad I did that, and I did not go with the medium. And again, I know my gauge wasn't exactly on, so that's my fault. But I was having some moments of panic when I was working on this, because it is a circular yoke, and so you knit the yoke and you don't divide for the sleeves for quite a while, and it was just growing and getting so big, and I was thinking that is going to be huge on me. But I think we're okay, because my goal was to get split for the sleeves before I filmed this podcast, so I did that this morning. And let me show you what I have. Hold on, I gotta figure out which is the front. There is short row shaping to help. Here we go. Okay, so it's still, I don't know, it's gonna be drapey. It's very drapey feeling. I think it's gonna fit just right. When I look at it still feels a bit big. I'm not sure what this yarn is gonna do when I wet block it, because I've never used it before. This is a washable yarn, but you're supposed to dry it flat. When I lay it up like this, I think it's okay. And actually, let me try it on real quick. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to try it on. Okay, I'm back. So look, it looks good. It looks like it's going to fit really great. And let me get turned around here so you can kind of see. So yeah, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be the perfect size. And I haven't decided how long I'm going to knit this yet, because my thing is I have some dresses, including the one I have on right now, that I would like I don't have any really cropped shirts to wear. So let me just show you my anchor tee here. Oh, it's inside out. So when I put on these certain dresses that I have, and I have quite a few of them, I always think, man, I wish this was probably like 3 inches shorter, 3 inches more cropped. This is about what they all look like. And I think that if I would take about 3 inches off, then it would fit me perfectly as far as where my natural waist is when I wear a dress, because I am extremely short torsoed. I have long legs and a very short torso. So that's where I have to do most of my careful adjusting whenever I'm knitting. But yeah, I think this is going to be really nice. Can you see? I do realize that because of the nature of this yarn, the lace paneling is getting kind of lost in that, but you can still see it a little bit. I wasn't sure about the neck. It looked really wide whenever I was just working on the project, but now that I look at it, it actually fits really perfectly. So I was considering going back, picking up stitches and doing some ribbing, or even just like a stockinette so that it would roll down over. But I don't think I'm going to have to do that now. I think it looks pretty good. I feel pretty happy now that I'm seeing this on, and this is the first time I've tried it on since I've split for the sleeves. I was pulling it down over my head and just kind of taking a look at it like across my body, laying like a cape, just trying to get an idea of, is this going to be what I envisioned it, or do I need to tear this out? But I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. So I'm happy about this, and I've mostly followed it to pattern. The one thing I did do different is I picked up the number of stitches under the sleeve that I would for the extra small size rather than the small size, which decreased it, I think, by 4 stitches on each sleeve. And then you do German short rows in the back before you start the lace, and then you do it again after the lace. So I did the German short rows after the lace. I just didn't do as many. I think I did 4 rows, like 4 rows total of the German short rows, and she called for 6. And that was just because I felt like I wanted to get moving on. It was more me just being impatient than anything, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. That makes me so happy, because I feel like I have been struggling a lot lately with garment knitting and getting the right sizing. So this is very encouraging to me, and I'm super happy about that. The only thing I will say is that I am really craving color, and this is not colorful at all. It is dark. It is just this charcoal, and I am just really, but I'm trying to use what's in my stash. I have this yarn. I want to use it because I bought it, and but I don't know, maybe I'll knit another one of these in that petrol colorway, and it is a very solid flat color, so it would show this lace work, and it would give me some color. I don't know, we will see. But this is a really nice pattern. It's easy, it's simple lace, so I recommend this. And this is my first Isabel Kramer pattern that I've ever knit, so that's also awesome as well. I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'm going to change back into my Anchor summer shirt, and I will continue then. Okay, I'm back. I actually did not put the Anchor summer shirt back on because I'm actually getting very hot and I need to have some I need to not have any extra layers on me right now. It is overcast today, but it's warm. We had yesterday our weather was, I think it was like almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. It was. And so we're kind of having some nice, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a little bit warm. Even for a summer yarn, that drops Belle. The only thing is it is a like worsted, heavy DK, light worsted weight yarn. So it's still a heavy layer, or yeah, it's heavy. It's heavier. So on really warm days, no, can't do it. It's more of a transitional. In the heat of the summer, I'm not going to be wearing a shirt made of that. I do want to try I had multiple people recommend. I talked a lot about the Sandnes Garn Lena yarn in that special episode, and I had multiple people recommend using the Tin Lena, which is the fingering weight version of it, and it's a lot lighter and more breathable for like the really hot days of summer. So I really would love to get some of that. I haven't decided. I feel like that would be a good match for the Surrey shirt, which was another shirt that I talked about in that episode. So I'm throwing around that idea in my head, but one thing at a time, Amber. Okay, now the next thing that I'm knitting is actually an accessory. Where is it? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. This is in the beautiful bag by This Handmade Life. I don't typically talk about my bags, but oh, this bag is so beautiful. I've had it for years and I just love it. I love that quilted. I love quilted bags. So this next project is called, what is this called? An Italian Summer Scarf. This is by the Italian knitter. I think her name's Gabriella. She has a podcast. I'll link her down below. But this is, why did I choose to knit this? Well, basically it's easy and mostly mindless, and I had this beautiful yarn. This is Quince Co, and I don't remember the base and I don't remember the color, and I'm so upset with myself. But I had actually bought this and I knit myself a rift tee out of this, and I had quite a bit left over. I had 2 equal skeins. How much yarn? What was the weight? They were the same weight because I weighed them. Because the whole premise of this is a free pattern, by the way. This is very similar to like the Sophie scarf or a scarf like that. So the whole premise is you weigh your yarn, you split it in half, you knit the first half with your increases, and then you switch to the second half and you knit your decreases. And that way you know you have enough yarn. So here is what I have so far. It's very wrinkly. This is a summery, like linen and cotton base. I do remember that, but it has no wool in it. It's might be cotton. Maybe it's all cotton. I'll try to get on Quince Co's website and see if I can find the base. I don't know why I threw the tags away. But it's a really beautiful color. Like I would say a yellowy, wheaty type of a gold color. But I'm enjoying this so much. It has rows of eyelets throughout it, which makes it nice for cooler. I wouldn't wear this during the day, of course, during the summer, but like to have it on a cool morning, because I like to go out on my front porch and drink my coffee in the morning, and so this would be good for that. But this is what I have. I'm probably like halfway through the first half, and it's pretty long, so I feel like I'm gonna get a pretty nice length in this. And then I have this for my decrease. I want to show you my beautiful little ceramic stitch marker. It's so simple, but I love it. This is by Holland Hoof Farm. They make ceramic buttons. They have wooden buttons as well. They make really beautiful stitch markers. They, I think they do some earrings and some ceramic planters. They also sell their farm yarn. I've talked about them before, and I'll try to remember to link them down below as well. But I thought those were pretty colors together. So I'm really enjoying this. This is very much mindless knitting because unlike the Sophie scarf where you have to keep track of how many rows you do, and then you do your increase or your decrease. This is easier. I mean, that was okay, but this is really easy to keep track of because you have your eyelet rows separating your garter ridges. So you really don't even have to hardly pay attention to this to work on it. So I really recommend this. She actually has quite a few scarves, like different, I think they're all very similar, but different renditions. And then I think she has a kerchief right now too that she maybe just released. I'm not sure when she released that, but this has been a fun project to work on. So I'm enjoying that. Those are my 2 summer projects. Now I want to talk about just the WIPS that I've been working on. It all started when I went to my WIP shelf in my closet, and I pulled out this sweater, this garment, the Pine Creek Crop. This is by Samantha Guerin. this is a sad knitting story because I knit this last year, and then I realized after I got through all the lace, which was a lot of work because it's a lace yoke and it's a very involved lace yoke, I realized it's way too big for me. So let me show you here. If you've been around since last year, then you've seen this before. This is it. Look at all the lace in that yoke. I already split for the sleeves and was starting the body when I was like, this is not gonna work. And it hasn't, like, I just am not feeling it. This is Purl Soho Linen Quill. What is this color? Hold on, I think I have a skein of it here. This was given to me as a gift. Honey Pink. So this is Honey Pink colorway. It's very, I probably could not wear this color well in the winter when I'm more pale, but when I have a suntan in the summer, it's okay. It's lighter than my skin tone in the summer, but probably the same in the winter. But I have to rip this out. I have to rip it out. I let it set there for almost a year now, and I gotta rip it out and do something else with the yarn because I have 3 skeins of it. So I need to do something else with this yarn. I'm not going to sit on this project anymore. I decided this is being ripped out. It doesn't matter how much work I put into the lace. If I'm not going to wear it, then that's really silly when I could be using this yarn for something else. So that project, again, that's the Pine Creek crop. Nothing with the pattern. The pattern is beautiful. The yoke, let me see if I can find a picture. I'll just put a picture up on the screen. I would like to knit this again. And I'm not sure what went wrong. I can't remember. I think I got gauge, but maybe I didn't. I might have that written down in my knitting book, but something went array somewhere because it's way too big. And it could have been just me because I was going off my full bust rather than my upper bust. I'm not really sure, but it's done. I'm done with that one. I'm done. I'm tired of seeing it on that shelf. I'm going to rip that out within the next couple of weeks so I can reuse that yarn. Okay, now let's move on to some other WIPs, and I'm going to show you 2 pairs of socks that I finished while camping. They literally smell like campfire. As I sit here, I can smell campfire. It's a wonderful scent to me anyway. So the first one, I'm going to start with the ones I've been working on, the socks I've been working on the longest, and this is a satisfying project because I used up almost all the yarn. This is all I have left of this from this yarn in this project, and this is going to go in my little jar of yarn ends because, again, what am I going to do with this amount of yarn? And here we go. Aren't these so adorable? So these are just plain vanilla socks, and this particular yarn is Patons Kroy. Midcentury Modern is the name of this yarn colorway. I love it. It's so much fun. I love those colors. Let's get a close up so you can see. That is very true to what the colors are. And then the contrast, most of the contrast in these socks is Patons Kroy muslin. But I did run out of that halfway through the heel on the second sock. So I just took a fingering weight, like an undyed fingering weight, and I held it double to finish up the heel and then the toe on that sock. So you can't tell though. If you look close, you can see that the fingering weight yarn that I started with is actually a bit brighter than the Patons Kroy, but that's okay. Nobody's gonna really notice that. So very happy with these. They're super cute. These will be, I don't know if I will keep these for myself. I really like them, so I may. Or I have a drawer of socks, like where I keep my, not just socks, but it's mostly socks, things that I knit that I may eventually gift to somebody else. So I may stick these in there. Haven't decided yet. But I should tell you, for these, I cast on 52 stitches because Patons Kroy is classified as a fingering weight, but it is not a fingering weight in my opinion. It is more of a sport weight. And so I usually knit on size US 0 needles, and I usually cast on like 56 to 60 stitches for myself, for my foot. But when I use Patons Kroy, I use a size 2 needle, and I cast on 52 stitches for this. Okay, next completed WIP. Look at these fun socks. Matches my dress. This pattern is the Serene socks, and this is by 3 by the Sea Designs. I started this earlier in the spring, I believe, and I don't know, I just wasn't in the sock knitting like mood at that time, and so it just took me a while. I don't know why, because this is DK weight, by the way. That pattern is, when you buy it, you get both the DK weight and the fingering weight version, and I decided to use the DK weight because I had this beautiful DK weight yarn from, oh gosh, what is this yarn? I know this yarn, this particular colorway is no longer being produced, but it's Sock Obsession yarn. And this is the information. The last time I checked, which was several months ago, the Extrasolor colorway was not online, but you can check out her other yarns if you want. But it has this really nice ribbed panel that runs just across the front. I think the pattern does give you an option to run it the whole way around, but I just did it across the front and down the foot. And yeah, I got 2. They're so squishy. With this ribbing, it makes them even more squishy. And I have this much yarn left. I didn't measure this, but I still have a decent amount. I didn't make this extra long up here. I just was thinking this is a thick sock, so it would be good for a boot sock. So let's make it so that it just like sticks up above the boot just a little bit. So that's why I chose the length that I did for these. Yes, so you can check that pattern out if you like. It is for sale on, is it on Ravelry or just Etsy, or is it on both? I can't remember. I'll link it down below. Okay, and then I have another pair. So I have another pair of socks, and then I have another garment to show you. But this is actually a cast on that I did, when did I start this? I don't know, in March maybe? I don't even think I've ever talked about it on the episode though, so I don't know, maybe it was after that. I'm trying to find my ball band so I can tell you the color. There it is. Okay. No, that's not it. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. So this is another pair of socks. These are going to be, I have somebody in mind for these. And this is really beautiful. This is actually, this pattern, the self-striping is Drops Fabel. And it is the color 914. It's very pretty blues, very wintry. I feel like it's very wintry. I don't know why I'm getting those vibes from it. And then the contrast color is a Knit Picks Stroll fingering in the Sapphire Heather. Is that what it is? Yeah, Sapphire Heather. So I'm using that as the contrast. So I actually got this first foot almost completely done. I need to, actually, I'm just getting ready to join in. I have the contrast color attached, so I'm going to start the toe decreases, and then I cast on the other one to get rolling on that. And I got through all this ribbing. I'm not a huge fan of the ribbing. I rather just do the stockinette when I'm doing socks. So I got this started because I knew then that I would just keep going, like I'll just keep forging through. So I have this ready to go, working on that. This is like my church knitting because I can mindlessly do it and not look at it. So yes, that is that project. Now let's talk about my last WIP that I want to share with you guys. And I've talked about this one on here before, but it's been a while. It has been a while, and I'm not really working on it much. Let me grab it here. Sorry for all the extra noise. Okay, this is the Sonder sweater by the Petite Knitter. And I don't know where I was when I last showed it to you, but I'm almost done with the first arm now. Like, I'm really close to being done with this. I need to persevere through. But it's summer, and this is 100% wool, so I'm having a hard time picking this up. This was another one of those sweaters that I was really nervous about the size and thinking that I made it too big. But as I knit the body, and I might have talked about this, I just was putting in kind of random decreases, but not completely random, because there was some forethought to it, but I was decreasing the body so that it wouldn't be so big and baggy. But I know for certain, since I last talked about it, I did pick up stitches for the sleeve, and I'm working down, and I think I have the sleeve the length I need it. These are marking my decreases as I go. And then when I start into this plastic one, that is saying I'm not decreasing anymore, but I still want to keep track of every 10 rounds because it's easier for when I'm knitting the second sleeve. It's a way for me to get both sleeves to match without having to like recount the entire arm. I did not decrease the sleeve the same way the pattern called for it, because I want to have it a little bit puffier at the bottom. So not a balloon sleeve, I wouldn't call it that, but I just wanted a little bit of puff at the bottom. So I stopped decreasing earlier than they said, and now I'm going to start. I need to do one more try on, but I'm pretty certain that I have it at the right place where I can start the ribbing for the cuff of the arm. And then I just need to get this arm done and it'll be finished. Oh, and I should say, for those of you who are here for the first time, this is Purl Soho Good Wool, which is a DK weight yarn. This pretty reddish orange color is called Barn Door, and the contrast color is Pink Salt. It looks white on the camera. Yeah, it's not picking up, but it's actually a really pretty, well, it kind of reminds me of my Himalayan salt lamp when it's not lit, like that pink color, the lighter portions of it. So that makes sense. It would be called Pink Salt. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. This is going to be a fun one to wear. I love the colors. They're brighter than I normally go for. Okay, guys. If you want more details on that pattern, just look back several episodes and you'll find me talking about it more in depth. Here's my little thing that I'm currently struggling with. I so badly want to knit with bright colors. Not neon, but like color, just color. But I don't necessarily like to wear bright colors. Like the stuff I have in my wardrobe, mostly my bottoms, because I'm mostly knitting tops, right? So the bottoms that I have in my wardrobe are mostly like olive green or some denim, or like colors that aren't necessarily going to go with bright colors on the top, but maybe I'm just thinking about this too much. Another thing is when I wear bright colors, I don't necessarily feel like Amber. Does that make sense? But I want to knit with bright colors. Like working on this Yumi shirt is it's not the pattern, it's the yarn. It's so boring, but I know that this will go with a lot of things, but I'm like, I want to knit with bright colors. Normally that's how I am all winter long because it's typically really gray here, so I just want to knit with color. And then in the summer I'm usually pretty good with knitting with like more neutrals and stuff, but this year I want to knit colors. So I was thinking of a solution for that is this big, right here, this big basket of fingering weight yarn, all these beautiful colors. I need to knit more socks, and I also need to go back to my video that I did, the 25 one skein fingering weight projects, and pick out like a couple of projects from there and knit using this beautifully colorful yarn, because I need to feed my need for color and working with color. It's not that I'm just not getting a lot of joy out of knitting with black. But I want the finished project, so I need to balance it with some color and some fun knitting. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. I love watching Yana of the Finished Knitting Stories. Like, she knits in so many bright colors, and she loves the bright colors, and she looks good in the bright colors, and I think she feels like herself in the bright colors. But me, I don't know that I do. I feel more of myself in neutrals, but I like to work with the nice bright colors. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Anyway, so yes, so that is it for the knitting content. Just a little, oh, I need to do the giveaway. So I'm going to need to pause this because I have not even randomly, I'm going to use a random comment picker, and I'm going to pick a winner for the pattern, for a pattern from like a summer knitting pattern. So I will be right back. Okay, so the winner is right up here, and I'm going to say that's Tony SS658. I hope I said that right because I memorized it, because I don't currently, until I edit it, that picture is not going to be up there. But you are the winner, so you can pick any pattern like off of my video, or if you have one in particular, you had said you wanted the tulle stitty, feel free to change your mind if that is what you want to do. It's a $10 limit for the pattern. So if you could please contact me using my email, which is listed down below, I will get that pattern sent out to you. All right, and that is it for this week. And thank you guys so much for watching and for your support. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. And I look forward to producing more of these videos. I have actually quite a few ideas of special episodes coming up. I did one last year that was a road trip episode, so knitting patterns that I thought would be great for road trips, and I'm feeling like I need to come up with a part 2 of that video because we have a couple of road trips planned for this summer, and so I'm feeling the itch for doing a little bit of research on some even more road trip patterns. So stay tuned for that and more that I have planned. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.